Here we are.
Oh,
Woohoo! See, isn't that the best name for
that's
Wednesday?
perfect.
Woo! All right, everybody. Everybody, it is 11:04 here in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And I am Samantha Buckley-Hugessen. I am the Master Life Coach for Women in Business and your host of the Women in Business Network and Community. It is Woohoo Wednesday. Woohoo!
Woohoo.
This group is all about networking and connecting, and sometimes just being in a safe place to ask and be with other women when we're just going through the stuff of life. So today we are spotlighting a fellow woman in business, a sister and amiga who is here to lead, inspire, teach, and grow you. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Alina LeBlanc. Is it La?
Hi.
Is it La or Lay? LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. See, it's so the English language and French and Spanish and Latin. It's also screwy. But anyway.
Agreed.
All right.
It technically would be like LeBlanc, but I don't. I just say it LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. So, ladies, Alina is a personal stylist based out of the San Francisco Bay Area in California, for those of you who are not in the Northern America place right now. She's been featured in Vogue Italia, People, and Women's Day. She uses her knowledge and skills to help business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals create personal styles that are authentic, aligned, and magnetizing. We all want that. Alina shows host events and style workshops to empower people who are the face of their brands to show up with confidence. That's such great like purpose right there. She speaks about the power of style and using personal style as a tool to help you create the life you want and attract more visibility and confidence. Okay, it's kind of like a life coach for design, for fashion,
Yes.
or for showing up.
Yes. I do say like 90% of what I do has nothing to do with clothes.
Okay, but that's so cool. That's like the best. All right, well, talk to us. Tell us all about you. That was a great introduction, but what made you decide to get into this kind of line of work? And, let's go.
Yeah. So I have always loved clothing and style since I was little. I love dressing up still to this day. Any excuse to like have a theme party and dress up, I absolutely love it. But I really was able to see the impact that style had on people. So I grew up watching, like what not to wear and how do I look and seeing that and just knowing that style can really change people, how they see themselves and how the world sees them. And so I actually went to school to be a fashion designer. I worked in design, designing all categories of women's wear. So from lingerie to outerwear and everything in between. And then I decided that I didn't want to just design more things and I wanted to have a bigger impact. So working with people to helping them hone in on their personal style, not trying to figure out what is the most trendy piece right now, wearing it one time and never wearing it again. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like helping you understand how you want to show up and feel and using style as a tool to do that.
Okay, so that's awesome because I think when I was, I get very visual when people talk. I'm just one of those weirdos that it's not
Oh,
visual.
I imagine everything.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm just visual. I'm not like thinking about what I'm going to say next. I'm picturing
Yeah.
everything you say in my own vision, my own mind, right? So it's funny. I was thinking about the confidence piece. Like,
Mhm.
how many of us, so a large portion of our women are a little bit more mature. So they're
Yeah.
40s, 50s, things like that. And what happens a lot with us is that we used to be hot. Like we were smoking hot in our 20s. We didn't have to watch what we ate. We could dress and wear anything. And then hormones kick in and all that kind of stuff. And so now we think we have a style. Okay, now I'm just talking about me.
You're still hot.
No, but I have a lot of girlfriends. We have this talk. And it's like, oh, I love that dress. And I want to go get that dress, but it's form fitting. And now I've got the menopausal pooch and I've got
Yeah.
this and, you know, the arms and da 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 da. So when you get something that really suits your personality and how you want to show up, it's like we've all done it. We've got that one outfit that we put on and we walked into the room or like, yes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I'm just thinking about this for the first time. And so I'm going to guess I'm not the only one because I've never been super fashion. It's just not my thing. I grew up very, let's go play sports. And, you know, you grew up playing dress up.
I played soccer growing up. I played sports too.
Yeah, but I didn't really care for dress up as my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up with, you know, 4 older brothers and it was always about, you know, if I fit of the, what do they call it? Survival of the fittest. That's the youngest girl at home.
Well, I think also women put so much pressure that they think they should like innately know how to dress well or should know how to put looks together. And I feel like it's like anything else, it's a practice and it's learning and how you want to show up and how you want to feel. And I think a lot of times that is what starts to help you feel more confident in your clothes too, is making decisions that fit you and your lifestyle rather than just being like, oh, this looks really good on them. I'll put it on and it doesn't really fit my body or suit me. And because that's very discouraging.
Yeah,
And so it's trying to figure out like, I think knowing your body shape is super important to see like what is going to be the most flattering for you and focusing on things that you really do like about your body because I feel like women put a lot of pressure on themselves to be a certain way and look a certain way, but it's like you have a body, you woke up today. That is enough. Like that's amazing. And not everyone can say that. So for me, I'm like, we need to celebrate the bodies that we have rather than put ourselves down and fit into a box.
amen. Amen. Okay, so I'm now thinking of that again, the emotional part of what you do, which I
Yeah.
so am seeing it now, is that, for instance, okay, so one of my dear friends and mentors, Laura, says to me, you know what, Sam, you can't see your own eyebrows. This is why you have a coach, right? Like I've been a coach for more than 12 years, 13
Yeah.
years now. And it is funny because you can't see your own eyebrows. To have somebody like you, Alina, that I would trust
Hmm.
and would tell me the truth rather than walking into, you know, the bond market. I don't even know the stores or the states anymore, but Nordstrom, you know, or the
Yes.
place I worked at when I was 16 for like 2 weeks. Anyway, walk into Nordstrom and expect that that gal is going to not just go, you know what? You don't want that. You got saddlebags showing all over the place, girl. You know what I mean? Somebody that
Yes.
trusts you and says, how do you want to show up? And let me ask you if this is kind of your process. How do you want to show up? What do you love? Are those some of the things that you do?
Yes.
And then you can sit there and take all the things that they love and how they think they want to show up. And then you can hold a real mirror, like, okay, I see you in that role. Exactly. That's how you showed up right there, or opposed to, let me sell you another piece.
Yes, I think that's like the benefit too of working with a personal stylist rather than a stylist in the store because I am not focusing on like getting commission or like pushing a certain brand. For me, I'm like, that's like the world is my oyster, but I really
Yeah,
can
no,
shop for clients in person at any store, online at any store too, and really figure out what fits you. But I really try to focus also on my client's lifestyle. So, yes, you might love this dress, but you're like, okay, if you're going to wear it one time, is it worth the investment rather than something you're going to get multiple uses out of that's nicer quality that you're going to feel really good in? So, I think also another part of what I do is really kind of directing like their attention into what they should be focusing on based on their goals and what they want out of their style.
amazing. And budget, I'm assuming.
Yes. So, yeah,
No,
that
but
plays a
no,
role like your budget, your size, your body shape. Like these are all things to consider when shopping that maybe other people don't really think about. They just go in and they're like, oh, that looks good on the mannequin. People hate trying on clothes too.
yeah,
So they'll
yeah.
just buy whatever they see on the mannequin. They'll get home, they'll try it on, they won't like it. a lot of people don't want to spend the time to return it, and they'll just be stuck with something that just hangs in their closet with the tags on.
Oh my God. So ladies, with your replay or their, I'm gonna lose those 5 pounds and then they'll look better on me or eat that. Oh, I'm again talking about my closet. I'm kind of packing my house up to sell it. And so it's hard because like I go through every year for sure and I just purge.
That's great.
However, wait, before you give me a medal, however, I went through a stage when I was transitioning. I forgot I was going to be working from home all the time. And I had all these great slacks. I know slacks, pants, whatever. Anyway, yeah, guess what? The tag's still on them. And they are so faded now
Oh
because
no.
I have windows, which I will never put windows in my closet ever again.
Yes. I think it's a terrible idea.
Don't ever put windows in your closets, lady. Anyway, so on the hanger, the top is all faded. So like they're anyway, and I can fit them now, but I'm never gonna wear them. So what a
Yeah.
waste. Anyway, I'm gonna say something interesting because I'm a little lot older than you. And so you kind of said something about buying pieces that you can wear again and again, opposed to the one-offs,
Yes.
right? Okay, so investing in certain things and quality things.
Yes.
Okay.
That's super important to me because with my background in design too, I'm like, it doesn't make sense for people to just keep buying and buying. And I know like this is so new. It's like we live in an age where everything is so instant and you can just quickly get a really cheap item, but how is that going to hold up over time? And for me, I like try to focus on educating people in the process. So like these are fabrics to look for, these are silhouettes to look for that are going to stand the test of time. It's not something trendy you're going to wear today and forget about tomorrow.
Right. So is timeless pieces still a thing or am I just super old?
No, I think it's definitely a thing. Like for me, so I show people how ways to be more intentional and sustainable with their style, but show it doesn't have to be boring. Like I like flashy stuff. Okay. I like brocades, colors, like I like flashy things, but these are things that I've invested in that are nice quality and they're pretty like I would say more classic silhouettes. So I
Mhm.
do try to help people get more classic silhouettes that fit their body and look good. So regardless of what trends are in style, if as long as it fits your body and it looks flattering on you, you're going to want to keep wearing it over and over.
That's so true. I say that because we talked a little bit before we went live. You know, I sit behind a computer and people see me from here up,
Yeah.
right? So often I'm wearing shorts. I only wore pajamas to a session once and I admitted it to the client. She's a girlfriend of mine, so we just talked about it recently, actually, because she's in a group session with me. But anyway, I'm always dressed, you know, I'm always showered, I'm ready for work, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But because I'm not walking into a room, powerhousing and what have you. However, so I wonder if this is still true today, because I used to be in the corporate world. And
Okay.
I used to be in, you know, running offices that had customers and things like that. And my job as a leader, I feel, was to raise my team, you know, educate them, teach them, develop them, raise them. And one of the things that I taught them about was having some really good pieces
Yes.
and, and that like save up for them, borrow them, you know, whatever you need to do, because people often will just notice when you look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what you're wearing. They don't remember all that kind of stuff, right? But if you look like shit and sloppy and you're just not put together,
Yeah.
they remember that.
Yeah,
That's
and people
what.
associate that with your work. And so I think like as a professional or business owner, it is so important to look good because whether you think your style matters or it doesn't, it does. Like that's a fact. Psychologically, people see you, and if you look like a mess, they're going to think that's how you
Yeah.
work, and that is the quality that you can put out in the world. And so I think it's like it doesn't have to be something, your style doesn't have to be something stressful, and it shouldn't be. It should be
No,
a way to like focus on your personal development and feeling good in your business and showing up. But on the opposite, if you don't put any attention to that, people notice too.
they do. They
Yeah.
notice, they notice the yucky more. Because exactly, like they
Yeah.
might say, oh my God, that's the cutest blouse or whatever. But the truth of the matter is you ask them 3 days from now, hey, what was Alina wearing when you
Hmm.
talked to her on Tuesday? I don't know, but she looked really good.
That's
I,
true.
but it's true. I mean, to this
Yeah.
day, I remember when I was looking for, a job in my early 20s or what have you. I remember that this recruiting company
Hmm.
wanted me to become a recruiter. And this woman talked, big game. And I mean, this was in the 80s, the late 80s or early 90s, right? She talked this big game. And I was following her up the stairs to her office. And her shoes like had all the leather or whatever off the heels and they were dirty. And,
Oh,
and I'm like, shoes, people, just clean. Just clean.
yes.
And when I
Yes.
would raise my staff, I literally would just say, just clean and pressed back in those days because everything had
No,
to be
that's
pressed.
true.
We
It's
were
small tweaks.
always
Some things they don't cost a lot to do either. It's like making sure that you're not showing up with something that looks like you just pulled out of your laundry hamper, you
right.
know? It's like steaming something that takes steaming is so much easier than ironing. Takes like a fraction of the time and it makes a huge difference. But yes, like cleaned items, you want it to be
Yes.
clean. You want things to be steamed and just like look good on you because that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And
Yeah.
I am, see, you're taking me back to, I remember, and this was a big budget for me when I was young,
Yeah.
is I would go to Nordstrom because I'm a Seattle girl and that's where we shopped,
Yes.
for quality things back in the day. And I would go get a three-piece suit. Yes, not vest, but pants, skirt, jacket. I would
Yeah.
spend over $1,000. This is way back then on three really great pieces.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would build off of those for business professionally, and they would last me years.
Yes. I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
And were the items, I'm just curious, but when you were buying them off the rack, did they fit you perfectly or did you have them like altered to you?
I found certain lines that fit perfectly because I'm
Oh,
6'2".
okay.
So there was only certain clothing lines that would actually be long enough or fit, yada yada
Yeah.
yada. And I worked for a really strict company that your skirt line, so I would have those would have to be let out often because your skirt, if you're on your knees, had to touch the ground.
That's worse than fingertip length.
Right? Right? Or then I think they changed it to like 5 fingers or something. You know what I mean? Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? So whatever. This is again, my point being is that so some of the the original ideas that we were raised with still hold true, right? Quality, mix and match, get some really key pieces. Alina will be honest with you and tell you, listen, you said you want to show up this way. When I see you, boom. Or that's not the message I'm getting.
Yes.
Right? I want to show up as a powerhouse, but you walk in and, like flowers and ruffles. And I like all those things, but I don't know if I was going to walk into a board meeting if that's, if I say, no,
Yeah.
I want to show up like Van
Like
Dam.
powerful. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
think that's like the hard thing too, is like how I said I grew up like watching what not to wear. It's like a lot of the time, but they would make people feel really bad. And so for me, I'm like, I don't want to do that. People already feel bad. If you want to feel confident, you do not need to get knocked down to feel more confident. So I'm like, I just try to focus on like what is working and how to
right.
get more of that. So I'm like, we could do better.
That's so awesome though. But that's like I used to love that show by the way, but they were mean.
They were mean, and I'm like, that's so unnecessary. I think the fashion industry tends to like show up like that, and I just that doesn't align with me. And I'm like, I'm working with real people and they have real emotions and insecurities. I want to uplift them and help them feel good.
Tell me a success story. Tell me about a client that you're going, yeah, that was the best.
Okay. I will say I have amazing clients. I'm so grateful. I love all of my clients and they're just like amazing people.
Well, your energy is super cool. So if
Thank
I
you.
ever got out from behind this computer, I think we would hang out and you would totally dress me.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. One really good one. Okay, so
Anyone.
I'll think, okay, so one of my clients, she is like a professional. She works in an industry where she is actually virtual a lot of time with clients. So she wants to look good on Zoom, but she has a very active lifestyle. So she travels a lot. She goes to concerts on vacations. Her and her husband travel, and it's awesome. So for us, we work together. I have different packages, and we did like a 6 month package. And during that time, we were able, so also her weight fluctuates a lot and she ended up losing a lot of weight. And
Right.
so her clothes didn't fit her and they just didn't fit who she was anymore. And that was her main concern. She's like, I want to feel sexy. She's 60. She's like, I want to feel sexy. I
Yeah.
want to feel like put together. I want to look good. And I don't want to look like how what I think of when my mom was 60, what she looked like.
Right.
And I think it was awesome. So we really focused on like things she did like, and she loves color, which I love color. She loves color and she likes things that are feel like special, but they're wearable. So all of the wardrobe that we had got her, it was all awesome pieces to mix and match. Even we're playing with colors. She feels amazing now, and it's so nice every time I see her. And she's referred me to friends, and she's just like, the way that I feel is completely different now. She's like, I am excited to get ready and to leave every day. I feel so much more confident in my body, just like focusing on the shapes that fit my body. And she's like, and I feel sexy. She's like, I love going on dates. I love going to concerts and looking really good now. And it's just so much easier for me. And for me, just hearing all of that, I'm like, "Oh," crying. But I'm like, I
Right.
love that. It's so cool that to help somebody. I think for me, I'm like, I see that inside of you, and I just get to bring that out in like the physical form to show that on the outside.
I I love it. So here's something that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So I provide kind of an intangible service.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a life coach for
Yes.
women in business, right? And so it's like people are like, oh, well, how do I know if it's working? Or how do you quantify the cost of
Yes.
me? Now, I already know my return on investment because I've been doing it for so long. Um, I can do it on how much more money people make. I can do it on their quality of life. I can do it on, their health. I can do it on all these areas and say, okay, well, we can go back to that life that you had 6 months ago if you want, and I'll give you all your money back. And they're like, no, 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 no. So I'm curious how it's kind of like you do have an ROI. I already know you do because I already know what happens when people show up in confidence. I already
Yes.
know how the conversations change, how I know that.
Yes.
What do you do when someone says, oh, well, geez, I don't know if I can afford it?
Yeah.
What do
So
you do
I
with
feel like
that?
it's always I think it's always like interesting to hear that. And it's a lot of times it feels hard to hear that because I'm like, I know what an investment is. And I think people just don't know if it will work for them. And that's really what it's about. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if you've worked with somebody with my body type. And I'm like, I've worked with people with so many body types, so many different ages too. I'm like, I offer payment plans. And if this is something that you want to check back in a while, but I know these are the complaints that you're telling me right now, and you haven't made a change yet. And these are things that are holding you back from being visible, especially for entrepreneurs. I'm like, a lot of them don't want to show up and go on lives. They don't want to network. They feel uncomfortable. They don't want to do speaking engagements. And I'm like, these are all things stopping you from making money and increasing your impact.
Boom.
Like, Yes, I'm like, style can help you with all of that.
No, boom, boom. I love that. And I wanted to get it out here because it's kind of like getting ahead of the objection before it becomes an
Yes.
objection for anybody that might see this and reach out to you.
Hmm.
Here's the truth of the matter, in my opinion or in my experience, and I tell people my age every single session. I'm 57 years old, you guys, so I'm pushing
Oh, you look
60.
amazing.
Thanks, filters. No. Anyway, nah, I don't have too much of a filter. I have it on the back because I cleaned my office yesterday, which means I just pushed everything to the couch. And as I'm scrolling on Instagram, I see a picture of a woman sitting there like eating ice cream in the middle of a room. She got super motivated to clean, and now she's just in the middle of it. It
I
was
get
funny.
wrapped up too. It's hard. I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh, I'm gonna try on this. I'm gonna do this with all these things. And I'm like, okay, I
yeah.
missed the point. I'm cleaning.
I'm cleaning. I'm cleaning. Squirrel. Okay, shiny bubble. But I would play dress up though too. Get
Hmm.
in my closet. Oh, do I really want this? Oh my God, it's so cute. I forgot I had it. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. Okay, so here was my point. I digress. My point is to put a bow on what you said, because what you said is exactly what I was thinking. Is that how many times have you been insecure and not taken an opportunity? There's number
Yes.
one. There's number one. So what's that costing you?
Yes.
The other thing is that we already talked about how people see you. So one of my examples used to be, who do I want to invest in my garden? Sorry. Who
I
do I want
can't
to
hear
invest
it.
in? Oh, cool. Okay, good. So these $9 earbuds work, I guess. Okay. So they're my favorite. I have one of those fancy microphone things. I hate
Yeah.
it. These are the best.
I think that happens.
Okay. So here's the thing I say my girls, like it sounds like I was a madam or something, but I just had women that worked for me back then. So I'm just picturing again growing up these women into business and into life. And I would try and tell them, let's just say you're going to go into a jewelry store or you're going to go into a super fancy, you're about to make an investment. Let's be clear,
Yes.
it's an investment. Maybe it's a car or jewelry or whatever. And there's two people there. One's well put together and one's a slob. Now, their body types are the same. I'm not saying one's, smoking hot with, 22 and blah, blah, blah. They're the same person. They're twins.
Yeah.
Who are you going to go and trust?
Yes.
I'm
The
just
one
being
that looks
honest.
great. Yes.
It's true. And it's like, we're not talking about, I don't care about piercings and tattoos. I don't care about all that stuff. But I do care about how you show up.
Yes.
We have this thing, for instance, I have a tattoo. My family and we just all got matching tattoos.
I
I
love
have
that.
thanks. I have an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old, and of course a 58-year-old and me, my husband. Anyway, and like we have a rule because the 18-year-old is pretty edgy. They're awesome. They're so smart, by the way. They're so smart, well educated, blah blah blah. But I kind of shared with them. I said, when it comes to tattoos, please, nothing from the neck up,
Yeah.
nothing from the hands down. And here's the deal. Yes, it's way more acceptable. Everybody's tatted now. Da, 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 da. I know that's why I have one, but I'm also self-employed, so I can
You
do what
can
I
do what
want,
you want.
right? And if you don't like me, I'm not your person. But not everybody has that luxury that I have, right? It's like if you don't dig me, I'm down with that. Then we're not going to work together anyway. So
Yes.
perfect. But the point is that, and I'm glad I got the point across to my child, is you don't want it to interfere with your income because
Yeah.
people are going to judge you. So you can sit there and say, you're not judging me, but guess what? You're also not getting the job or the client.
Yes. That's so accurate.
So just show up, in your polished, self-expressive, beautiful way.
Yeah. And I think that's important too. I'm not telling you like you should be in a pantsuit every day, to look good. That's not necessary. It's figuring out what fits you and your lifestyle. Like, yes, you can have tattoos, I have tattoos too, but I'm
Yeah,
like, that's fine for what I do. Like I am in a creative field, so it's just figuring out your lifestyle and what your goals are and creating a style that's like aligns with that. It doesn't make sense to have like, you're not going to be like a rapper with a face tat and go into a corporate setting. And then
I,
just be like, oh, I'm going to apply and I'm going to be like a C-suite executive.
well, or I'm gonna be the face of this company.
Yeah.
So
Or like for
funny.
some companies that can work, it just depends what you do and what your goals are.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm picturing going into a really fancy car lot
Hmm.
to buy, friggin' $100,000 car or something. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not going to the person that's got the, face tat and again, yes, sorry, you think you're being judged. You're only being judged in your environment in which you want to show up in,
Yes.
right? So
But people treat you differently, like based on how you show up for sure. Because I was with a friend recently and we were out doing something and she was like, did you ever realize like people treat you really well? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I think because like you always look good, people like kind of go out of their way to help you. And I'm like, after she said that, I started thinking about it more and I'm like, that's true. Like people are nicer to me. And I think it's because I like present myself in a way that is like, first of all, I'm like, I do wear flashy stuff. So people are like, oh, that's cool.
yeah,
And
because
they
that's your
talk to me,
style.
they're engaged, magnetic. And
But you're also adorable. Like your
thank
personality is
you.
so yummy. You have such a cool energy. So anyway, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
You're
But I'm
welcome.
like, yeah, I haven't noticed, but I'm like, that's true because I have been in a situation or like a professional setting where somebody didn't want to work with somebody else in our group because of how they show up and how they look. And they're like, I don't want to show clients this person. And it's not even like he was all over the place, but they're like, how he looks in this professional setting is not something that I would like to introduce to my clients.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes sense. I totally get that and understand that.
So I'm gonna, because we just crossed some like lines in our very open and honest conversation or transparent conversation where people might go, well, that's like judgy and rude. It's like,
Yeah.
by the way, we're just telling you what maybe you're not seeing. Now,
Yes. Yes, there's
again,
so many people who are like trying to fight me. Sometimes like they're like, "Well, I don't think that matters." And I'm like, "Okay. Well, maybe that doesn't matter for you, but that matters for other people. Even if you think it doesn't, it does."
yeah, yeah.
And
So
I'm like, I'm not trying to judge you or to make you feel bad or wrong, but I am showing you the opposite of that to see that you can change that. And if you want to show up and look good, that is totally available for you.
mhm. Yes, I love this conversation because it's actually very raw and real. And again, so for instance, I'm super grateful because I've been in my business long enough, and it changes who I want to work with is evolving. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I'm really lucky because I only work with people I want to work with. So, yay! You know what I mean?
That's the best.
Yeah. Okay. So yay for me. So it's kind of like, and again, I'm sitting here and I'm pretty confident for the most part. And growing up being tall, you had a choice, either do this or lean in. So
Yes.
I not leaning in wasn't an option with my big cop dad, smacking me in the back, stand up straight. Anyway, so again, ladies, wear whatever you want, show up however you want, stand in your ego of you're not going to tell me if I
Mhm.
fine. But then I want you to open your wallet, check your credit card balance and check your bank account and see if your ego or if your inability to accept that people are going to judge you, they're going to decide who they want to give their money to.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And
I
I
think
think
it blocks a
women,
lot of people.
yes, and women, a lot of the times they just feel like they need to hide. And so they'll wear things that don't let them like stand out. And it's really sad because I'm like, you have, and so many of them, it's like, you have an amazing body, you have a healthy working body. Like, let's celebrate it. you should feel good. Getting ready should be like a pleasure for you. It shouldn't be something that stresses you out. And I think that's really important to notice too, because a lot of women there wear black or a lot of the time, like, I think that's fine, but it's like they'll wear things
No,
that
no,
are
no, no.
oversized,
Yeah.
they're hiding. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much of you inside that isn't showing on the outside. And for me, I'm like, that's the fun part. It's like pulling that out of you, figuring what that looks like. It's not an innate, like it's not a natural ability, it's something that's learned. So let's do this together.
I have a bit of a crush on you. No, because again, it's so much deeper than I have, somebody that helps me pick out clothes.
Yeah,
I have a
exactly.
stylist.
That's
It's
why I'm like, I
really,
like working with people for longer amounts of time because you are building that relationship. I am seeing people in their most like vulnerable state. They're like naked in their closet. So it's like you
I
want to have a good relationship with someone who is going to see you like that and see you for how you want to be and help you get there.
that's just so cool. I want you to restate what you said. A healthy serving body. What did you say? Do you remember? It was
Like, what did
incredible.
I say?
No,
I don't
I know. It was incredible
a
though,
healthy,
because
like capable body, maybe. I'm not
no, it
sure.
wasn't capable, but it's just like we need to love the fact, forget, because we started out the conversation when I was saying, listen, I was a size 5 and a size 6 at 6 feet tall once too. Anyway, so it's the thing of you love your body. It's serving you. It's done so much good for you.
Yes.
Like don't be mad at it. Stop being so angry at it because it's aging or it's a little too curvy for your liking today or whatever.
Mhm.
Love this body that's serving you so beautifully.
Yes.
And let's make the connection between how it shows up out there and how it's received. I just think it's so
Yes.
great. That's
Yeah,
so
I
good.
totally agree. And it's like if maybe parts of you you're more uncomfortable with, it's like clothes can help you like exaggerate or minimize certain parts of your body to make you feel better.
I love having an expert. I love talking to an expert because often I find out what did isn't working by
Hmm.
seeing a picture going, I thought that big baggy t-shirt would hide my role. Actually, it just made me look like a giant, humongous, 10 times bigger than I already am. Lesson
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's important too. It's like also learning in the process. I'm like, you got to be open to try things. And I think people get stuck in their ways like, oh, I could never wear this or I can never do this. And I'm like, why not? I'm like, let's start incorporating things in small ways that you feel comfortable in because when you feel comfortable and you start trying new things, that's when you build your confidence.
I love the neckline on your
Thank
top.
you.
I love
This is
that.
amazing. This is like so soft and cozy.
Is it? No, I don't need cozy because it's hot down here, but
Yeah, I'm like, you don't need that.
I love that neckline so much. It's
Thank
just
you.
yummy. Okay, so you said something to me, and I'm going to repeat it again because now I really, really see it. Is style is personal development.
Yes.
It is self-care.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yes.
When we think about all of the things that hold people playing small,
Mm-hmm.
right? What holds people back. You have to be sure when go back and watch this, by the way, on the playback in the group and see what it was that you said. Because you need to like have it in your whole promo thing because it's so yummy and perfect. It's that piece about really, loving this body that's been serving you,
Yeah. Well, I
but
will definitely rewatch your
well,
own.
and my trusty assistant Faith is gonna put this on YouTube and then share it back with you so you
Oh,
can use
awesome.
it. Yeah, you can use it for your own business. Um, this was surprisingly much deeper and cooler than I thought.
What were you
Ah,
expecting?
I don't know. I think I was expecting, like, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was just expecting to talk to somebody about style. I don't think I was making the connection that it is personal development, which I totally get that now. Like the commonalities between what you do, it should be, I'm a, personal life coach for style. I don't know, but it's like, it's big. I think the impact that you make on people is much greater than people that haven't worked with you yet.
Thank
No.
you.
So I want you to make sure and go to the page and put all of your details, everything for every woman that sees this so that they can reach out to you, learn more about what you do. Maybe get to work with you. Would that be amazing?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything for me? Any questions or comments for me? Anything I can give you love and support on?
Um, I feel like this was great. I loved talking with you about this and like hearing your insight too, and seeing like you came from a very corporate role to one where it's like you are the face of your brand. And what do you think has been, I'm curious, what do you think has been the biggest shift in your style from being in a corporate position to now?
Flip flops. Flip flops. So there's a good handful of women in the group that have known me through my corporate life and that. I being 6'2", I always wore heels.
I love that.
You almost never saw me in flats because I walked better. I showed up better in heels.
Yes, it's like you stand taller.
Yeah, which no, I didn't need to stand taller. It's funny because people would often say to me, "Why do you wear heels?" I go, "Why do you care? You can't see the top of my."
Lingerie or heels are like lingerie for
Why
your
does
legs.
Oh, there, oh, look at that. Exactly. I still wear, like when I go to the States and stuff, I wear boots. I love boots and I live in a place where nobody wears boots. Why would we? It's
Yeah.
the tropics. But anyway, so what's changed really, it's the flip flops. Once they started making shoes in my size, I became a shoe whore. I did because I wear
What
size
size shoe do you wear?
12 women's.
Yeah, it's so hard to find sizes.
Well, and because all of my trans girlfriends go steal my shoes. So they get there before me.
One of my friends who's a stylist is actually making shoes for women's shoes that are going to be from, I think it was like a 11 to 15.
Okay, Nordstrom is like one of the only places that does that,
Yes,
and
Nordstrom
Zappos.
and then Nordstrom Rack. You can find some really good prices on amazing shoes because
Where I
there's so
shop,
many people getting them. Yeah.
just so you know, that's when I go to the States, that's one of my stops every single time is the Rack. By the way, when I said I
Yes.
worked for Nordstrom when I was a kid, it was the very first ever Rack
Oh my
in
gosh.
Seattle. I started at midnight and it was setting up the basement of the Nordstrom store. It was the very first Rack.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh. How
was
wild.
16 and I was a fitting room attendant and I hated it. Just so you know.
Well,
And
I
I
feel
think,
like in fitting rooms you hear a lot of negative self-talk too, so it's
oh,
really very overwhelming.
anyway. So yeah, so I changed from wearing the powerhouse high heels, well, not high, well, 3 to 4 inches,
That's
and
high.
suits, you know, and skirts and business. I changed for that to wearing, well, also because I have hot flashes, so I wear layers again.
That's good.
Yeah, but not because the weather is going to change. It's just the internal weather changes a lot, and I literally live in flip flops. Good ones, Vionics, like they're really good flip flops. I have 5 different styles of Vionic flip flops, sparkly ones and white ones. But yeah,
I love that.
so
Well, but
that's
that
what's
makes sense.
changed.
That fits your lifestyle. It fits your environment where you are. It would be
Yes.
weird for you to be like on the beach and in heels.
Right. And thank you. And then when people hire me to come and do trainings in person and seminars and speaking and all that kind of stuff, I still have my clothes, but they're much more comfortable
Yes. Well,
because
and that's the
they already
key.
want me. They already want me, right?
And I
So
feel like that's the key too, is like looking good does not have to be uncomfortable. I think it's like if you don't feel comfortable in your clothes, you are not going to look confident and it's going to show.
boom, put a pin in that, ladies. Okay, I have to go. I could talk to you all day. I just get to talk to the coolest chicks here. I love it. I love it. All right, so thank you for asking me that question. And now I'm going to say to everybody else, thanks for tuning in today. I read this, it's not memorized. Thanks for tuning in today. Make sure and hit the get notifications in the group. Also, ladies, share the group with other women, right? When I say women in business, you don't have to own your own business, but you need to be a leader in a business. So you could be a solopreneur, you could be a manager, you could be aspiring manager, manage yourself and one other, then you qualify. And I say you qualify because if you're none of those things, then we don't let you in the group. Because we have to have that place in common where this is a super safe place that we nurture, grow each other, get advice from each other, right? And one thing we have in common is we're at the top of that point right there. So who else do we talk to really?
You
All
need
right.
people to relate with you.
Right? That aren't your, coworkers. Oh my God, biggest mistake ever. I'm going to complain down or talk down. And I say down as in down the corporate line.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake ever in small businesses is that your team knows too much. You need to be talking to people like us, not to your team. Okay, there's my little bit of coaching for everybody on the planet today. All right, so get notifications, share us with your friends so you don't miss opportunities to talk and ask questions of our inspiring women in business. If you'd like to apply to be a speaker or a guest, by all means, I'd love you to raise your hand. Send me a message, send Faith, who's Faye, a message. She's a administrator in the group, and let us know. We're going to start just recording these, not necessarily doing lives, because no matter what time I do it, not enough people are showing up, but they're watching the replays. So we're going to go ahead and start just recording them and playing them at an hour that everybody would like to watch and replay. And if you want to know more about Alina, all of her stuff is going to be in the comments. That's on you, Alina.
Yes, I will add it.
Okay. And if you want to know more about learning about how to live your life purposefully by design, then you look for me here and reach out and we can talk. Sound good? Thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you. This was so nice. I loved this.
Yay. Say good things about us.
I will. I'll definitely.
All right. All right, sis. So great to get to know you. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.